Welcome to the Verdin Sports Show. I'm your host, Jacob Verdin, joined by my guy, Sherman Wilson. Sherman, long time no see.
Hey,
how you been, man? How have things been going for you?
I'm doing well, man. Good to be back, and good to be back with you, just having these conversations about our season and about pretty much everything that's going on in the sports world. So last time was really good, and I enjoyed it, so I appreciate you having me back on.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming back on. We got a lot of things to catch up on. We're going to do a little bit of a recruiting update. We're going to give our opinions on the NBA Finals, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. But just to get it started, the Elite Camp, a lot of prospects in and out of Baton Rouge. I've been calling it the hot spot. And also, the thing about the Elite Camp that I like and what it really, I feel like it serves LSU, their ace up their sleeve, is that you don't have to go to the kids. You don't have to go to their environment. You don't have to go find them. Instead, you bring them to you. This is the environment, the fields, the facilities that they're going to be practicing in. That this is going to be their day-to-day life. You know that. So kind of talk about the Elite Camp and talk about how much of a blessing that is to be able to bring someone in and show them like, hey, life is going to change, buddy.
Yeah, no, the really good thing obviously is it's a hotbed. It's a central part of Louisiana, and so not only is it good for our student athletes, future student athletes, prospects, their families to see the facilities, to see the fields, to see what we have to offer, nutrition, and our development staff, strength staff, but also it allows our in-state schools to come to a centralized location and see top-level prospects, because the reality is everyone won't play at LSU, but it feeds the entire state. And so those prospects that may not play at LSU get to be recruited or be watched or be evaluated by the staff from McNeese, from Nichols, from Southeastern, Northwestern, Grambling, Southern, ULL, Louisiana Tech, UL Monroe, Tulane. And so you get, I think that used to be Louisiana College, but those universities, those schools, they get an opportunity also to see the best talent in the state, because everyone's going to come obviously to the Elite Camp in Baton Rouge, and so they all travel down, and so it's a good opportunity for communion, for fellowship amongst coaches and players and their families. So I think it's a good thing that we do the Elite Camp, and the title is the Elite Camp, the elite of the elite, competing against each other. And so it's not really about competing for offers, right? You want the opportunity to showcase what you've done from January until this point, and put it on tape, allow us to evaluate you. We record everything, and so I think that's key to it, because we can go back and reevaluate as we assess through the season. And so you put it on tape, the testing, because you want to see how they respond. I've always said to adversity, and so when you're going against elite, you see how they respond to giving up a catch or getting blocked or getting pancaked. Just different things, different levels of their response system to adverse moments. Because again, you're going to play high-level college football, and we don't need to find out if you can respond to adversity inside our stadium.
Exactly.
And so all that culminates with the Friday Night Lights camp, which is inside our stadium, that gives everyone an opportunity to go into the stadium to taste that valley. And so it's the experience of a lifetime. And so some of the best and brightest that ever came through LSU experienced Friday Night Lights, and that's something that we can offer the entire state and the entire state schools to get that moment. So I think that's second to none in the country.
No, what an experience, because I feel like that valley's the cathedral for college football. So being able to put kids in there and watch their eyes widen, that's pretty cool. But
and a side note to that, there's only one Death Valley.
Only one.
There's only one. There's only one that.
Keep trying.
But I mean, other people can call themselves that, but you have to experience it to understand what I'm saying.
Exactly.
There's no shade toward the other school that call themselves that, but it's our stadium, our atmosphere, our fans, our community pulling together, and so we don't divide the state. It's there are other universities, like I said, that play football, but being the only P5 in this state, it's a different atmosphere for us. We don't share it with anyone else, and so we get an opportunity that other state schools don't get. And so that's why I say, like, the magnitude, the gravity, like at night playing in Death Valley, you kind of get that when you do the Friday Night Lights, and it's not the same, but it's that feel. And the ones that rise to the top are the ones that eventually play in Death Valley at night. So I think it's an opportunity of a lifetime.
And whenever I think of Death Valley, I know what comes to mind. So I think that's going to be the golden standard.
Yes.
When a college football fan has the words Death Valley uttered, what are they thinking of? I believe they're thinking of Baton Rouge. They're thinking of a Saturday night. It might be a little hot, it might be a little muggy, but they got some rambunctious fans packed in, about 103,000 of them. They're going to have some purple lights next season. We got it going on, if you ask me. But I did want to mention, I like that part about seeing how a kid responds to adversity. Like, a lot of people don't understand your job as a recruiter. You know, when you're going to watch a kid, you know they can ball. You know they can play. You know that they have sometimes it's intangible skills. Other times it's skills that, you know, you might want to refine. But for the most part, like you said, you want to see if they're hanging their head when they're down 2 possessions. Correct. You want to see how they're interacting with their coaches, their teammates. That is probably like 3/4 of the evaluation.
Correct.
So I think that really goes underrated and unnoticed, and a lot of people just think it's X's and O's, it's times, it's all this, but no, I think it's a lot about personality, finding a gel, finding a fit. Have you seen any potential fits throughout the camp? Have you seen anything
definitely. Definitely can't name names, but definitely we've evaluated a lot, we've seen a lot, we've done multiple camps, and so like I said, I will say June coming to a close. June is probably the busiest month in college football, the off season. But we've done a lot. The staff has done a lot from top to bottom. Coaches, evaluators, player personnel, recruiting from official visits, just different things. Everyone has done a lot and done their part. And so you kind of go into the recovery period, the recharge, to get ready to focus on the season, focus more on the season as our development staff strength and development staff have gotten our players already ready to that point right there, working while we're also working to improve the team moving forward. They're working to improve the team currently right now. And so you keep the main thing, and that is obviously our current football players, and then you're focused on at the same time trying to build for the future. And so I like where we're headed. Obviously, we love where we're headed as a staff, as a team, players, and everyone else. And so, look forward to it. Like, July is more even keeled, not as much, but like, recruiting never stops. It's 24/7, 365, and so. But like, the camps are done, and so those evaluation periods are now over. Now more so than anything, it's just the communication part of the evaluation and the recruiting.
Okay, so a member of LSU staff, and you being able to be there and having the privilege of watching them grow, watching them go get forged through the fire. We're talking about the recruits in adversity. Well, LSU right now could be considered in a little bit of adversity just because you got to gel under new coordinators, you got to gel under a new staff. How do you find that the team's responded to that? How do you find that the team just overall at this point in the summer, it's way too early for 2024 and any of these predictions and then all of these Nostradamus abilities, but with what you've seen, with what you feel, with just how everything is over there in Baton Rouge?
You're going into year 3 of Coach Kelly's era, and so I think we're probably gelling the best we've ever, just because of, not even for players, but just because of continuity. I mean, we'll return the O-line. You bring in, like you said, new coaches who are arguably the best at what they do, and so everything's coming together. And so again, you don't want to make predictions because that's fool's gold, but we're preparing. And so long as you're prepared, you're going to have moments in games where that preparation will show up or it's needed. And so I'd always say that we stay locked in. You stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And so our team is just moving, climbing that ladder, taking each step. And so reaching down as they climb, also to pick up teammates to get so that we're all on the same level. We're all boats are rising together. And so I think that's going to be the continuity is going to be the key to this year, because we've been together this long. You kind of start to see them answer each other questions, them knowing what each other do in certain things, because they're learning all at the same time, and it's all coming together at the same time. And so I expect us to gel more, to be on the same page, because everybody's saying the same verbiage, everybody's saying the same words, and you just keep building. Team bonding is key to that, and they understand that. And so you have a veteran team. And so they know they understand what's at stake. They know what we play for. And so I think when you have different individual goals that meet the team goals, I think everything, like I said, all boats rise. And so we all come to this together at the same time. And I think you get what we expect this year. And again, I'm not going to get into predictions, but it should be a fun season.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, all signs point to it. I feel like, any little question mark that you could have had with the things you've seen from the spring and then, the things you've heard from the summer, it does look like the team is definitely on that upward trajectory. Plus, you add the college football playoff expansion. You go from 4 teams to 12. That thing's wide open.
Correct.
So I think, I mean, we're not gonna harp too much on it, but I've been preaching. I feel like this is the year.
Our expectation never changes here. That's the thing. It's never, so we never go in there saying, oh, it's college football playoff or bust, because we don't have to say that, because that's the expectation no matter what. And so we don't have to talk about it just to be about it.
Yep.
Like, we know when we wake up, we know when we get up, we know when we walk in that building. You walk through the trophy room every day. Like, you see the awards, the accolades, the individual and team. So it's not something that you got to discuss, because you know it. You walk in the stadium and you see it. So it's understood. Like, when you're recruited here, when you sign here, when you walk through the door, when you put the jersey on, when you put the workout gear on, when you put the shoes on, you walk through the locker room, like, the expectation is the expectation. We don't have to run around and wear shirts that say it, and we don't need that, because it oozes through us. Because of when you walk down the hallways right in the facility, there's all the All-Americans. There's all the NFL players. There's all, like, they walk through the halls. You see them. So if you consistently see something, there's no reason for people to talk about it.
Right.
Because it's understood already. It's in you already. Especially if you're from here. And so it's just who's next up. That's all it is. So we don't have to discuss that. Other people have to discuss that, right? Because they don't have what we have. And so now we got to get back to that level. But you're pursuing it. You're always pursuing excellence. And so I always say the same saying, I don't know if I said that, in my endless pursuit of perfection, I will achieve excellence. And so when you think about it that way, every day is a climb. That's it. Every day is a climb. And at the end of the season, it's like wrestling, right? When you climb, remember you used to have the tables, ladders, and chairs. You climb the ladder, right? The goal is to reach up for that belt.
Yep.
That's it. Don't matter when it starts, when it ends, do I grab the belt? It's always crazy. Every time they grab the belt, they always fall out. Nobody grabs the belt on it. Yeah, they never grab the belt on and standing on the ladder. They always grab the belt and fall. And so that's the same thing. No matter what the ending result is, as long as you have the belt. As long as you have the championship, everything else doesn't matter, because you got there.
Yep.
And that's it. And so that's the thought process when we walk in the building. The goal, keep the main thing, and that's the championship. And so you don't have to talk about it like that, because we know why we do it. We know why every drop of sweat is there. We know why we do the team runs. We know why we do the 7-on-7s. We know why we do the 1-on-1s. We know why we do the team meetings. We know what we do, the mental performance. There's a reason we do all that, for one goal. And anything outside of that is irrelevant. And so, as you see Jamar Kane jump in here and his wife.
What's up?
But like I said, it's a family thing. It's a part of what we do. It's ingrained in us. It's in our blood. It's in our DNA that we're pursuing excellence. And so if you're pursuing excellence, then nothing else matters. And I think that's, at the end of the season, when you go back on it, you think about it, you dwell on it, everything that you did to get there won't even matter. Because once the confetti's falling, that's all that matters. It's in that moment that you did all that for a reason. It all adds up to that. And so,
paid off.
Yes.
To get something you never had, you got to do something you never done. A little sacrifice definitely going to pay off.
Correct.
And like you were saying, hey, what's understood don't got to be explained.
Correct.
Standard excellence. I see it. And I feel like that's kind of the main feeling that everybody got when Brian Kelly comes over here. Or at least that's one of the main things I got. You got the winningest college football coach right now active, comes over here, and within a year you're in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Next year you're holding up a Heisman Trophy. Mm-hmm. This year, I don't know what's next, because this keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And
Correct.
3 under BK. I mean, if you look at his track record, if you look at whether it be Cincinnati in the undefeated season, Notre Dame going to the national championship, year 3 is special. Say, right. I'm not gonna get superstitious, but I think, especially at this point in the offseason, you got the attention going on recruiting. You got the attention going on, like we were talking about, the fool's gold, the predictions, who's going to get in, who's going to get out. But It's expected, especially right around the time the NBA Finals dies down, right around the time baseball starts to pick up, College World Series, and then stuff like that. What have you seen so far that's kind of jumped off the page at you, whether it be College World Series, NBA Finals, anything recently been?
Yeah, I think the last podcast I did recently, I'm a Mavericks fan. I expected Luke and them to win it, and it just shows, right, watching that series, the team with the effort won. Like, if you go on paper, they're kind of stacked the same way. Two superstars, role players, coaches that's, kind of just Jason kids been in the business, but, getting their feet wet into this business like this, like under 6-7 years each. But it came down to, if you take away the stars on both teams, will the other, like I think Shaq or Charles Barkley say the others, will they show up? And Al Horford showed up, Drew Holiday showed up, Peyton Pritchard showed up. And so that was just the thing, like the calling card of who on the Mavericks would show up. A lot of those guys were just added to the team in mid-year in trades. And so that goes back to what I said about LSU. It's the continuity. Like, when like Drew Holiday was there, he was brought there for a reason. He was brought there to be a defender. He was brought there to be a leader. And that's what he did. He filled his role. If everyone do their role, do their job, like Bill Belichick say, it's a complete team. But it's when somebody who doesn't shoot threes wants to shoot a three. It's when somebody who doesn't dribble the ball gets the outlet pass and he fumbles it. And it's one of the key moments was, I think, the block. But it really wasn't a block, right? He got I think it was game 3. It was an outlet pass, and the guy who got the ball really is not one to do that, right? And so he gets the ball in the open court. When he gets the ball, he looks over his shoulder. Right there, you knew he wasn't going to make that layup because he's worried about the person behind him. Right. Your best players in the world don't do that. They have tunnel vision. I got the ball, I'm ahead of them, I'm laying it up, or I'm going to dunk it. He actually hit the rim. He didn't get it blocked. It hit the rim, and that's because that's not what he do. In those moments, your best player shows up. Your best player should have the ball. Kyrie made a good pass, right? But knowledge or even wisdom in that moment makes you understand, allows you to understand he's not ready for that. You've been in practice with him. Has he done it in practice? And so that moment was too big. Nothing against the guy, but I think sometimes we put people in positions that they're not ready for, because I think it's the military that have the saying, in tough moments and moments of adversity, you revert back to your training. So if you never trained for that, Kobe Bryant said that. Like the free throws he shot, or the game winners he shot it 1,000 times. The only reason it's magnified is because the fans weren't in the gym with him. So they haven't seen him come around a curl or come around a screen and hit that shot 1,000 times. That's why when he shoots it, there's no emotion to it. And so the thing is, right, when you have those moments, that's why the Michael Jordans, he used to get mad at certain players on his team. I think the center, I can't remember, they told him he couldn't eat on the plane because I trusted you in a moment, you didn't do it, and so therefore we lost because of it. Now I'm not going to trust you again. That's it. It's pretty simple. And so Kobe Bryant would take all those shots. That's the difference, right? In those moments, Kyrie, maybe if you take the ball up a little more, you press him a little more, give him a better shot, or you just take the shot yourself. And so Jaylen Brown would take those shots. Jason Tatum would take those shots. Drew Holiday took those shots. Peyton Pritchard, even at the end of both halves of game, 4 and 5, I think it was, 3 and 6, 3 and 5, he shot the half-court shot and made both of them. It's because it's his level of training. I train for that. So when I shoot it, I'm confident in it because I make them in practice. It's not something I'm just... Luka does that, right? Those little trick shots. He practices them. There are videos of him practicing those shots. So we ooh and ah because we don't see it. But if you see him and you know what he does, you know he does better. But I think the issue with the Mavericks is conditioning and it's effort. Defense and rebound is all effort and energy. And want to. That's it. Do I think the Celtics were the better team? No. Do I think they're the more complete team? Yes.
Yeah, and I think they kind of, like I use this analogy a lot. I heard this from Daniel Cormier, and I feel like it proves true. This isn't championship fights, but we might even mention this last time we had a talk. The championship rub. Sometimes a fighter has to go in there in the ring, get beat up a little bit. Like, this is the speed. This is what I got to run for. Stuff like that. And the Celtics kind of, you know, whether it be last season, conference finals, or just over and over and over, getting a rub. So it was their moment. I think, if anything, the Mavericks now are in a situation where they're going to be better because of it. Like, they're Lively, he's going nowhere.
Correct.
Luka Doncic,
Correct.
going nowhere. If you look at some of the statistics, so of course Celtics get their 18th championship. They break the tie with the Lakers, so now they have the most championships in NBA history. They're going to be excited on that one. But what stuck out to me, Mavericks were held under 100 points 4 out of 5 games. The only game they score over 100 is the game that they win, which is game 4. And then the Luka Doncic situation. So he performed. He showed up. It wasn't like a Luka was missing, was choking, nothing like that. 29 points per game. He actually averaged the most points per game on the losing team. Like, for a player to lead the losing team, this is the most points they've ever had, 29. Has 9 rebounds per game, 6 assists per game. The only note I will make, and the thing I kind of want to throw up to discuss with you, is it like more beneficial or is it more detrimental to always be looking for the call, always be complaining, always look at the ref like, what are you doing? What's going on? What's going on? I get it every now and then, and I played basketball myself, so I'm going to complain. I get it. But when you complain at that level, that might be why the moving screens or, the blocking fouls, that might be why the refs sometimes don't lean in their favor. I mean, that's just my hypothesis. So sometimes, him with the hands up, taking the LeBron approach, it might not be the best method. But how do you feel about it?
I'll say this, because I grew up a Dirk fan. Dirk didn't do all that. Like, if you look at the errors in basketball, I don't want to, if you go watch clips of Jordan, they didn't complain like that. They just played basketball. Do you catch them saying something? Maybe, but it was a respect of the officials. Maybe the officials are bad. I have no idea, but they're still human. And so when you question someone or you show someone up so many times, you get that name, that's who you are. Just like when they talk about Draymond Green, whatever, his history is who he is to those officials. Right. And so they don't look at Luka the same way because he always complains. I think a lot of Luka's issue is he was a child prodigy. He's been balling since he was 16. He's been unstoppable since 16. So maybe he feels like when he gets stopped, it's a foul. It probably is a foul. The difference is when he stops to complain, most of the Celtics runs were when he fell out, trying to get a foul call, he slipped, or he didn't get back on defense. Because Luka plays his own pace, and the whole team plays that pace. It's very slowed down. They get more possessions. So when they score in the 90s, they still have a chance to win because they're gonna have the possessions. You get what I'm saying? The Celtics push the ball so much because it put Luka in bad situations because of either conditioning or whatever reasons. They were always in bad situations on defense. The Celtics would get easy points. I didn't look at it, but I guarantee the Celtics probably had more fast break points than them. They probably did and that's easy buckets in transition. Long 3-pointers, right? That's bricks. If they start running, they're going to have more people back there than you are. And if Luka's slipping down, that's an easy dunk. Yeah. And so then he's complaining. He didn't get teed up like that, but he got ejected. He got fouled out of a game. He didn't move his feet on a drive. It was a simple, you know what I'm saying? And he has to understand, if he's not on the court, the team is not better.
No.
And so it's just energy and effort. And I expect this, like I was telling you about when we recruit. The mark of greatness is consistency. Like, you be good for a long time. LeBron James is considered one of the best ever. I'm not going to get into that discussion, but LeBron James is considered one of the best ever because of consistency. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the same way. Tom Brady is the same way. Consistency, 20-year career, longevity, and doing it. No one's done it the way LeBron has done it for 20-something years. I don't think we give him as much praise because we've seen it so much, and so it's like, oh, that's just LeBron. Yeah. But what he's done is an elite level longevity. And so, but his response to adversity, he got swept when he was young. And so how does Luka respond to this? I think their careers are on the same trajectory, like averaging 30, 9, 8, something like, and for Luka to average 9, 10 assists on a team that doesn't push the pace is pretty good, right? But if they're going to play slow like that, so he doesn't have to wear himself out on defense, right? Then you got to make buckets. If you don't, you're in the long, and that's why most of those games became blowouts because the ball sticks. And so the Mavericks lives off the three. They didn't make the threes. They lost. It's not hard. And so when they go into the offseason, like you said, how do they fix these things? How do they do this? How do they do this? But it's easy. You got there. The thing is now you're no longer the hunter, you're the hunted. So everybody's not going to chase you, and everything last year doesn't work this year.
True.
How do you move pieces around the Celtics, like you said, lost to the Warriors, then lost, and so they took their lumps. And then they built it. They say, you know what, we need this veteran presence. We need this. They went and put piece by piece by piece by piece, right? And they built it into a championship team the right way. They drafted both Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And then they brought in little pieces. I think they brought Al Horford over there a few years ago. Then brought him back, if I'm not mistaken. Like a Porzingis who was hurt, but he was a key piece defensively, deterring people from going to the paint, and then also shooting long threes. And so that their team was built a certain way, right? And it fit. I think fit is way more important than talent. But you have a lot of talented teams that don't win anything because they don't fit, they don't gel. And so that kind of goes back full circle, right, to what we're doing in this period right now with our football team is the gelling piece. Like the strength and conditioning component of summer, yes, it's about getting your body right and getting mentally and physically prepared, but it's also about the team finding out about themselves. Who can do what? Who can do this? Who's the leader in this? Who can do? And so, because when you go into the season, you ain't figuring that out no more.
No.
We're going to battle. And so, by the time we kick off September 1st, we should have all those answers. And so that's when you sit back, and you just get your popcorn ready because you should already know where you're at, right?
Showtime.
It should be exciting both. I'm eager to see how the Mavericks respond because that shows greatness. What's your response system? That's for anyone, right? In any profession. Like, you're going to get knocked down. You're going to have ups and downs. That's a part of life. Life is a part of that. If you're not only way you don't deal with that is if you're not waking up. If you wake up, there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be highs and lows. How do you respond to that? How do you're going to tie, everybody ties their shoe the same way. Everybody walks, no matter what, we all live and breathe and bleed. And so when you're in sports, it's competition, but you're not going against anyone else. It's you pushing yourself. If you're willing to push yourself to the edge, you'll find out what you're about. But if you're not, if you're comfortable, then you're going to get whatever's given to you. And that's okay too. That's nothing wrong with that. But to have a great life, right, to be elite, you have to be willing to push yourself farther than you've ever gone to get what you've never gotten. And so once you realize and you understand, like, this is what I want, form a plan of how I'm going to get it, and then go get it. You have to set your mind that you're unbreakable, you're unstoppable, because you are. Because that's why you're here. I always tell our players, like, God created you when He created you, He put a gift inside you that solved the problem on earth. And so you spend your life trying to figure out how you use that gift and what the problem is. And then you solve it. Some of us I realized probably about 32, 33. Some people realize it at 18. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on the path that you take. And sometimes we go in different directions, right? But the key is to always realize you have a gift, and your gift or your talent solves an issue on the earth at that time. And so the longer you take, the longer we have to wait to find out the doctor that solves blindness, or the brain surgeon, or the doctor that split the twins. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of those people were created with that gift inside them. And so it just takes some time for you, one, to realize it, and two, to understand how to implement it. And then from that point on, you create the iPhone. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so you think about all those different things. Michael Jordan was a basketball player, right? But Michael Jordan, Air Jordans, the shoes that they talked about a long time ago, creating, if you saw the movie, the true first ever NIL.
Yeah.
And so you go from there, and and obviously as college football started to expand, it's not a fluke that movie came out right around this time, talking about true, like, Jordan he gonna capitalize on those moments. And so was he a true businessman? And so that's the same thing. You look at everything that you do, right? Am I solving a problem, or am I creating a problem? If I'm creating the problem, I can't do that. unless I have a solution to that problem. And we all have that inside of us. You just have to realize, and you have to dig deep and do research on yourself, what your gift is. And your gift, by my definition, I think Steve Harvey said this, the thing you can do with the least amount of effort. Whatever you roll out of bed and can do like this, like cheetahs run. That's what they do. That's what cheetahs do. And so they don't have to pick if they can run. They don't have to, it's not something they have to think about. They can do it. If you tell jokes, be a comedian. If you can cut hair, cut hair. But again, it goes back, right? As we go into our off season or the middle part of our off season, figuring things out, you have to understand what your gift is, what you do really, really well, and how it can solve a problem within our team. Once every individual realizes that, every individual has a place that our coach put them in, and if everyone does their job to the best of their abilities, you leave everything else out. It's taken care of. And so I think that's the key to being successful or prosperous. Doing what you do best and letting out the chips fall where they fall. So, but like I said, it's as you can see, I'm eager for the season. Like the off season is such the time where there's thoughts and thoughts and thoughts and thoughts. But once they spot that football, all those thoughts out the way. It's time to go.
I can't wait. We less than 3 months away. I'm looking to get a flight to Vegas. I've been looking, man. Them things skyrocketing, but the minute I get one good little deal, I'm over there.
Correct. That's why you come to LSU. Because we play on Sunday.
Exactly.
We're gonna play the first game. We're gonna play. We open it up on a Sunday.
3 years in a row.
In Vegas, and so, like, where else would you want to be? Maybe Tiger Stadium, but yeah. But like I said, playing football on Sunday, opening everything up. Your parents get to see your family, get to see your former teammates get to see you. The former LSU players get to see you. Have the day. The NFL, we have that day. We have that day. And so that's going to be amazing. It's going to be a great opportunity to go out there and showcase what LSU football is about.
In the NFL stadium, too, one of the newer NFL stadiums. So it's a Sunday. You get that NFL feel. You get that NFL whole experience, fan base, everything. It'll be an interesting environment because it's so close to South California. So right. I wonder how many LSU fans are going to travel out. They normally travel well. Because College World Series in North Carolina with the baseball team, it was loud.
Correct.
It felt like the box. So I'm anticipating something very exciting. I'm going to give you the floor. If you got anything to say, anything you want to say before we get off.
I mean, the only thing I can say right is at the end of the day, like, LSU is the place to be. And I always say that, right, because it's home for people from the state. If you choose LSU, it becomes home. You just bring your best. Do your best. Do the best you can. Like I gave the whole conversation where we just talked about being the best that you can within yourself. Like, you don't have to be no one else but yourself. If you do what you do best, what you're created to do, you're going to be okay.
I agree.
Never get outside of who you are to impress, to do different things. Just live your life, enjoy your life, and let the chips fall where they fall. And I think you're gonna have an amazing life. You're gonna enjoy life. There are gonna be ups, there are gonna be downs. You prepare for it. You work for it. This is your moment. Like we have September 1st. It's gonna be our moment. We're going through May, June, July for not just September, but September through January. Expanding the playoffs it is what it is. It doesn't matter if they did, if they decreased it. Like the goal, the expectation at LSU is always going to be the same thing, and we're going to live up to that. It's never going to change. It don't matter where we're at, who we are. We're always going to be pursuing excellence, and as long as we pursue excellence, then we'll get what we got. And so I'm excited to do it. I know our players are excited to do it. So I appreciate you for this moment. And we're going to keep doing this probably every Sunday if we could. And just find topics to just express ourselves and talk. But you have a great platform, and I have no problem helping and growing it and getting the LSU fan base excited. Took a little break from Twitter. For a few months, and so I'll be looking to get back on Twitter, probably a new nickname, a new Twitter handle, but like I said, I'll get back on there soon. But sometimes you need to digress and take a step back and sit back and reevaluate everything and then get back to work. But you never stop. Like sometimes you just gotta focus on different other things to recalibrate and get back and refocus, and so you can go full steam ahead. So there ain't no stopping. Just sometimes you need a little mental break. So, but I'm excited for this season, as you can see, in recruiting, development, and playing the game. So we'll see in January how it all played out. My prediction on the Mavericks wasn't great, so it is what it is. But I think they'll make me look better. Yeah, they'll make me look better next year. So the Yankees are making me look pretty good. They lost to the Red Sox, so that, Patrick Kelly's a Red Sox fan, so that's not really great for me. Yeah, so but like I said, it should be interesting over the next few months. We're excited about it, so. But I appreciate you again.
I appreciate your time. It was awesome. This has been the Verdin Verdict. Y'all remember, we're going live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're going to be chopping it up with Sherman. We're doing it on the regular. It's a privilege, man. I appreciate the opportunity.
Appreciate you too.
Y'all have a good one. Y'all hit subscribe.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers, man.